Do you really think you can keep that money from me? I clenched my jaw, blood trickling down my forehead as Marcus gripped my hair, his fingers digging into my scalp. His eyes blazed with something darker than rage. You'll pay for crossing. Me, Sophie. Then he pushed me hard. My head crashed against the icy wall, a sharp pain bursting through my skull. I crumpled, struggling to breathe, my body trembling. But what he did next was far worse. My name is Sophie, and I'm 19. Just 1 week ago, I gained access to the $200,000 inheritance my father left me before he died. That money was meant to be my future. College, independence, a fresh start. But Marcus, my stepfather, had other ideas. 6 years ago, he entered my mom's life with his polished suits and false promises of security. Instead, he controlled every aspect of our world. I never trusted him. Then there was Ethan, his son from a prior marriage, spoiled, entitled, and convinced he deserved everything. Now, they both wanted my inheritance. I knew this confrontation was coming. I just didn't expect it to turn violent. Marcus summoned me to his study before dinner. I paused at the door. The air felt thick, like the calm before a storm. He sat, behind his desk, leaning back, hands clasped, projecting false calm. Sophie, we need to talk. I stayed silent, unmoving. Silence unnerved him. It's about your father's money. There it was. Ethan needs help with college. It's only fair. The word slipped out before I could stop it. No. Marcus blinked slowly, then exhaled, drumming his fingers on the desk. Sophie, this is about family. Your mom and I have done so much for you. It's time to contribute. You didn't give me anything. My dad did. His jaw tightened, a fracture in his composed facade. Ethan deserves a future too, he pressed. Then he can work for it, like I do. The air grew heavy. I felt the shift. Marcus's fingers stopped moving, his posture rigid. I'm asking politely, Sophie, and I'm saying no. I stood. That was my mistake. Marcus's hand shot out, seizing my hair. Pain seared my scalp as he pulled hard. You ungrateful little fool, he snarled. I gasped, clawing at his hand, but he tugged harder, dragging me forward. Crack! My head hit the wall. A blinding pain erupted, the room spinning. My ears buzzed. I staggered, legs shaking, but I refused to collapse. Marcus's grip tightened, holding me upright, his face inches from mine, radiating fury. You think you can defy me? Defy this family? His voice was low, dripping with menace. This wasn't just about money anymore. Blood coated my tongue. I won't give you a single penny. For a moment, I thought he'd slam me again, but instead, he shoved me back. I crashed into a bookshelf, its edge biting into my spine. My vision blurred briefly. Marcus sighed, smoothing his hair as if I were the problem. Think carefully about your next move, he said, his tone chillingly calm. If you tell your mother, you'll only make it worse. My breath was ragged, but I stood tall. I turned and left without a glance, my hands shaking as I reached my room and locked the door. I grabbed my phone. I needed help, now. Marcus's threats echoed, but I pushed them away. I dialed the first person I trusted. Sophie? It was Mrs. Larson, our neighbor. I need help, I whispered, voice breaking. What's wrong? I licked my lips, tasting blood. My head pounded. Marcus. He attacked me. He wants my money. I'm not safe. A sharp intake of breath. Stay there. I'm coming. I sank against the door, eyes fixed on the handle, heart racing. Time dragged. Then a knock. Sophie? It's me. I opened the door a crack, seeing her worried face. I collapsed into her arms. She led me to her house, locking the door. Her husband called the police. By the time they arrived, Marcus was at our front door, his face a mask of innocence. "She's confused," he told the officer. "She slipped and hit her head. She's upset about the money." Trembling, I pulled the officer aside, showing him my bruises, the blood in my hair. I didn't fall. Marcus's face twitched. That's when they cuffed him. He shouted my name as they dragged him to the car, vowing I'd regret it. I stayed silent, but as the door closed, I knew this battle was far from over. The sirens faded, but the fight wasn't done. Marcus was arrested, but Ethan remained. I sat in Mrs. Larson's living room, a cold cloth pressed to my temple. The bleeding had stopped, but the pain throbbed. Her husband had called my mom, who was still hours away. "You can stay here tonight," Mrs. Larson said, squeezing my hand. "He's not coming back." I nodded, but I knew better. Marcus wasn't the only danger. The house was silent when I returned to grab my things. I waited until the police left until everything seemed calm. I needed my wallet, my laptop, essentials. I crept upstairs, each step cautious. My bedroom door was in sight. "Sophie." I froze. "Ethan." He leaned against his doorframe, arms crossed, staring. "You really did it," he said, his voice calm but sharp. "You called the cops on my dad, had him hauled off like a thug." "He is a thug." I turned the knob, but Ethan moved faster, slamming the door shut. "You made a big mistake." I stepped back. The hallway felt suffocating. "Move, Ethan." He didn't. "You think you're clever?" he sneered. "Ruining our family over some cash?" I clenched my jaw, refusing to argue. I just needed to get past. I shifted, but Ethan grabbed my arm, his fingers bruising. "You're not leaving." I twisted free, but he grabbed me again, shoving me back. My shoulder hit the wall, pain flaring. "You have no idea what you've done," he growled. "You think my dad's bad? This isn't over." His face was too close. "You're just like your mom. Pathetic. Weak." My pulse roared. I wouldn't let him win. "And you're just like your father," I spat. "A bully." That broke him. Ethan's hand clamped around my throat, pinning me to the wall. I choked, clawing at his wrist, but he was too strong. "You should have just given us the money," he hissed. I didn't let him finish. My knees shot up, slamming into his groin. He gasped, his grip loosening. I shoved him back, but he lunged again. I ducked, dodging, and sprinted for the stairs. His footsteps thundered behind me. I flew downstairs, reaching the front door. Locked. My shaking fingers fumbled with the bolt. Ethan grabbed my shoulder. I swung my elbow, hitting his ribs, but he spun me around, slamming me against the door. The air left my lungs. He twisted my wrist, pain shooting up my arm. "You think you can run?" he snarled. "No one will believe you." I kicked his shin, but he held tight. My eyes darted to a small table nearby, a glass figurine. I lunged, grabbing it as Ethan yanked me back. I swung. Crack. The figurine shattered against his cheek. Ethan roared, stumbling, clutching his bleeding face. I tore the door open and ran. Barefoot, I sprinted across the yard, the cold night biting my skin. I reached Mrs. Larson's door, pounding frantically. "Help!" My voice cracked. "Please!" The porch light flared. Mrs. Larson opened the door, her eyes widening at my state. Blood, bruises, panic. Then she saw Ethan charging across the yard. "Get inside!" She pulled me in as Ethan reached the steps. "She's lying!" he shouted. "She attacked me! Stay off my property!" Mrs. Larson's voice thundered. Ethan froze. Sirens wailed in the distance. I collapsed against the wall, chest heaving. Red and blue lights flashed as police cars screeched to a halt. Officers swarmed, hands on their holsters. "That's him," Mrs. Larson pointed. "He attacked her." 2 cops moved in, tackling Ethan before he could react. "No, wait." Handcuffs clicked. Ethan thrashed, cursing, but it was over. I sat on the couch, a blanket around me, as paramedics treated my wounds. My mom had arrived, gripping my hand tightly, her face pale. The police had taken Ethan away. I watched the car vanish down the street. His voice lingered. "You think this is over?" I exhaled. No, it wasn't. The police car faded, but the weight in my chest remained. I sat in Mrs. Larson's living room, clutching a mug of tea I couldn't drink. The chamomile scent was meant to soothe, but nothing erased the memory of Ethan's hands on my throat, the shatter of glass, or the wail of sirens. My mom sat beside me, silent, her grip on my hand fierce. "We're leaving," she said, voice hard. "Tomorrow, we're out of that house." I swallowed. It should have felt like freedom, but it wasn't enough. Marcus and Ethan weren't finished with me. Detective Collins, a no-nonsense man in his 40s, cleared his throat, flipping through his notepad. "Sophie, walk me through tonight." I breathed deeply, dreading the retelling. Marcus was arrested earlier for attacking me. After he was taken, I went home to get my things. Ethan was waiting. Collins nodded, pen scratching. "Go on." He blocked my door, said I'd ruined our family. He grabbed me, pushed me into the wall. Collins eyed the bruises on my arms. "Then what?" He choked me. The words felt heavy. I fought back, kneed him, tried to run. He caught me at the door. I hit him with a figurine and escaped. Did he say anything else? Threats? I paused. He said I'd made a huge mistake, that I didn't know what I'd done. My mom tensed. Collins scribbled. "You did the right thing calling for help. We're charging him with assault and battery. With Marcus already in custody, this is a bigger case." "A bigger case?" I echoed. Collins leaned back. "We looked into Marcus's finances after the inheritance dispute. He's got a history, fraud, scams, forged documents." My mom's head snapped up. "What?" "We also found he tried to access Sophie's inheritance before she was 19, claiming she couldn't manage it. The court denied him, twice. So that's why he snapped. He'd tried to steal it legally and failed." The next morning, a lawyer sat at Mrs. Larson's kitchen table. Daniel Harper, mid-50s, all business. My mom had called him after learning about Marcus's fraud. "Sophie," he said, sliding papers toward me. "I've reviewed the police reports. We have a strong case, but this won't be simple." I rubbed my aching temple. "Why?" "Marcus will fight. He'll claim you're lying, that Ethan was defending himself, maybe even that you provoked them." My stomach twisted. That's ridiculous. It is. But he's manipulative. Be ready. I nodded, gripping the table. I wouldn't back down. "We're filing for a protective order against both," Harper continued. "They won't be able to contact you." My mom exhaled. "That's not enough. I want them locked up." "That's the goal," Harper said. 2 weeks later, I sat in a frigid courtroom, fists clenched, as Marcus walked in, smug as ever. Ethan followed, a bandage on his cheek from the figurine. Their lawyer whispered to Marcus, who smirked. At me, I didn't flinch. The judge entered, and the trial began. Harper presented the case clearly. Medical records, bruises, police reports, fraud attempts. Then the recordings. My mom had found a voicemail from Marcus, left months ago when she refused. Him access to my money. "Clara, be reasonable. Sophie can't handle that money. She'll squander it. Let me manage it. And you'll thank me." The room went quiet. Then my 911 call played. "He's trying to kill me. Please." Marcus shifted, uncomfortable. The prosecution dismantled him. His fraud history was exposed, painting him as a career criminal. Ethan panicked as photos of my bruises and medical reports were shown. The verdict came. Marcus, 21 years for assault, fraud, and coercion. Ethan, 5 years for aggravated assault. As cuffs clicked onto Marcus's wrists, he glared at me. "You think you won?" I stood. I know I did. The gavel fell. It was over. A month later, I sat outside our new home, watching the sunset. My mom brought out coffee, sitting beside me. We'd sold the old house, left it all behind. "Feels different, doesn't it?" she said softly. I nodded. For the first time, I felt free. Marcus and Ethan were gone, locked away, out of my life. The courtroom hummed with murmurs as the bailiff called the session to order. My fingers gripped the table, knuckles white. Marcus sat across from me, his orange jumpsuit clashing with the man who'd once strutted in tailored suits, pretending to be respectable. Ethan sat beside him, cuffed, his confidence gone. Their lawyer whispered, but Marcus's eyes stayed on me. Unreadable. I stared back. This was war. The judge, a stern woman in her 60s, spoke. "This court is now in session. The state of New York versus Marcus Reed and Ethan Reed, charged with aggravated assault, battery, fraud, and coercion." The charges hung heavy. Marcus leaned back, too calm. I'd seen that look. The arrogance of control. Not today. Harper stood. "Your Honor, the prosecution will prove the defendant's violent crimes and years of financial deceit against my client, culminating in a brutal assault." Their lawyer, a polished man in a gray suit, rose. "Your Honor, my clients acted in the family's best interests. This case is exaggerated by emotional distress and miscommunication." Miscommunication? My jaw tightened. Nothing was unclear about being choked or slammed into a wall. Harper didn't hesitate. "Let's begin." The prosecution played, my 911 call. My panicked voice filled the room. "He's trying to kill me. Please." I sat still, unflinching. Marcus's jaw twitched. Photos followed. Bruises on my arms, marks on my throat, the gash on my temple. Harper paused. Sophie suffered severe bruising, a concussion, and contusions because she refused to surrender her legal inheritance. The jury shifted, uneasy. Then the voicemail. "Clara, be reasonable. Sophie can't handle that money. She'll squander it. Let me manage it." Then Ethan's text to Marcus, pulled from his phone. "She's not giving in. We'll have to force her. She's just a dumb kid. She won't fight." Ethan paled. The prosecution exposed Marcus's fraud. History, debts, scams, attempts to access my inheritance. Harper stood firm. This was planned, calculated. Sophie isn't their first victim. She's the first to fight back. Their lawyer rose. "My clients regret any distress, but this was a family dispute, not a crime." Harper turned to Ethan. "You call choking your stepsister a dispute?" Ethan swallowed. "I didn't mean it like that. But you sent texts saying you'd force her, and 2 weeks later, you were arrested for choking her." Ethan had no answer. Marcus snapped. "This is absurd. That girl's been trying to ruin me. I gave her everything." Harper pressed. "By choking her? Leaving voicemails pretending to be her?" Marcus faltered, then sealed his fate. "She deserved it." The room froze. The jury stirred. Harper exhaled. No further questions. The judge spoke. "The defendants, Marcus and Ethan Reed, are guilty on all charges. Marcus Reed, 21 years. Ethan Reed, 5 years. Cuffs snapped. Marcus glared. "You think you won?" "I know I did." They were led away. It was done. I sat in the courtroom, hands gripping the chair, body still. Freedom should have felt real, but I couldn't breathe yet. My mom touched my shoulder, trembling. "It's done, Sophie," she whispered. I looked at her tear-streaked face. For 6 years, Marcus had controlled us. No more. I exhaled. We were free. Packing the house was surreal. Every corner held memories. Arguments, fear, pain. A stain on the rug from Marcus's spilled wine. A crack in the wall from Ethan's temper. This place was never home. In my empty bedroom, I stood, staring at the window where I'd spent sleepless nights, the closet where I'd hidden from Marcus's rage. I wasn't sad to leave. I grabbed the last box, walked out, and slammed the door. We sold the house in days. The money went to my mom. She wanted nothing of Marcus's, and neither did I. Our new apartment was small, simple, but ours. It smelled of fresh paint, a blank slate. I decorated my room with colors I chose, hung art I loved. No one judged. My choices. Freedom wasn't just leaving. It was owning my life. My mom started a job she'd always wanted, one Marcus had forbidden. Seeing her smile, stand taller, was worth everything. She was alive again. My inheritance stayed secure. I thought about it carefully. I could have spent it out of anger or saved it out of fear. Instead, I chose a future. I enrolled in college, picking a program that excited me, one that let me build something new. I wasn't defined by what I'd lost, but by what I'd create. Walking into class, I wasn't the girl who escaped. I was the woman who survived and rebuilt. One day, a letter arrived from Marcus, his handwriting sharp on the envelope. I stared before opening it. Manipulation, blame, threats. "You'll regret this. You think you've won, but you'll crumble without me." I gripped the paper, old fears creeping in. Then I laughed. His words were empty. I tore the letter to shreds and threw it away. Marcus Reed was nothing. I rarely spoke of the past, but one day, in my dorm, a girl shared a story too familiar. Abusive, stepfather, controlling home, fear. I saw her hesitation, her lowered voice. She was trapped. I reached out, steady. "You're not alone." Someone helped me. Now I'd help her. Freedom isn't just escaping, it's choosing. Choosing who you are, choosing to heal, choosing to reclaim what was taken. I chose to build something better, and I did. If you face someone who hurt you, would you confront them, seek justice, or walk away, knowing you